That was Kaiju Death Cry, Movement 3, in C minor, performed by the Unfathomable. And with that, we are at the top of the hour. Next in studio, we have Cinema Revisited Godzilla, featuring Pat, the Overpowered. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Entertainment Rebooted. The horror of every monster known to man, ravaging the earth. Destroy all monsters! Well done, Pat. Welcome back to Entertainment Rebooted, specifically another episode of Cinema Revisited Godzilla, where we are watching all of the classic Godzilla monster movies, and we are talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the iconic. Of this classic kaiju monster series.
Yes, sir, Bob.
Speaking of kaiju, I am joined by my own personal kaiju, Pat, the Great and Overpowered.
Butterflies.
All right, Pat. Today we watched Destroy All Monsters. Before we get into the good, bad, ugly, iconic, we like to do a bit of a plot recap. So, if you would be so kind, Pat, what was the plot of Destroy All Monsters?
Mankind has seen some technological growth, and they have started to create a base on the moon. To coincide with their moon base, they're also doing an aquaculture farming project, raising fish and edible sea life.
To feed?
Why, they're feeding all the monsters of mankind that they've gathered on one island.
Monsterland!
Or Monster Island.
Either way, they're there.
We've got Godzilla!
Of course. Rodan!
Who comes a-flapping in?
Of course. But he's held in place by a magnetic field.
We've got Mothra,
Who's in larva form.
Yeah, it's very confusing when Mothra's there in the entirety of it. Like, also why they are larva again. Never explained.
Yeah.
Unless it's in the Mothra series, like Mothra died, and that's Mothra, 4.
If that is the case, let us know in the comments below. We would appreciate it, because we might just do a little bit of a follow-on with the Mothra series. Kind of harder to find, but we'll try. We'll try.
We've also got Manda, who's like a sea serpent dragon.
And then we have Igiosaurus. Agirosaurus from the second movie has returned.
They brought him back
from the dead.
We've also got Mondosaurus, the giant spider.
Of course. Yes. He's back.
Mongosaurus.
He's not a saurus. He's like
Mongolus. The giant spider.
He's a spider.
We've also got Dandosaurus.
Who's a T-Rex.
Yeah, but he's big T-Rex.
Big T-Rex.
Like Godzilla size.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a little flying one that they don't give us the name of.
Even though he's like super cool and definitely shows up for everything but the actual fight.
Yeah. He's there before the fight, but he doesn't actually fight.
Yeah.
We've also got Bathead Dude,
who we also don't get a name of, and he doesn't show up.
Yeah. And we've got the Turd.
We don't talk about the Turd, Pat. My therapist said that we don't talk about things that traumatize us.
They need to know he's there. They need to be aware of what they can step into.
It's true. The giant turd, who now has a name.
Minizilla.
It's like Manila. He's a giant turd.
Yeah.
And he's there, and he does cringe things because he's the worst thing that's ever been created by man.
Yeah.
Speaking of the horrors of all mankind.
But don't worry.
He dies!
If only.
He's impervious. Anyway, sorry.
But luckily, all of them are kept safely on the island by specially catered containment devices.
Namely, a large industrial-sized version of Off,
Yes.
Kaiju Off,
Yes, Kaiju
and a magnetic field that doesn't affect metal aircraft like helicopters. Just Rodan.
and maybe the other flying dude that we don't know the name of.
Because we actually never really see him until the end of the movie and on the screens in the command post.
Control.
Speaking of the command post!
So, we go to the command post, and they're being told about, oh, look at this. These are the monsters, and this is how we keep them on the island. And we get a call from the moon base.
Space.
And they're worried that there might be a monster on the moon.
Ooh.
So
No, just kidding. There's no monster on the moon.
Yeah. But there's some stuff going on there. They'd like to have the director of the United Nations Space Confederation.
The United Nations Space Commission.
Space Commission.
Science Commission?
Space and
The UNSC.
UNSC. Good sir, yes. The UNSC to come up. But he is currently at the International UNHQ doing some kind of talky-talk with people. You know, them talky-talks of the bureaucrats.
Bullshit.
But as they're on the phone, oh no, they lose connection with the Monsterland base. And yellow gas starts to flow in from everywhere. And then the base starts to go crumbly, and the monsters are loose.
On mankind.
They're attacking New York.
They're attacking Moscow.
They're attacking Beijing.
They're attacking Paris, and they surrendered immediately.
Immediately. So they call the people from the moon back down. They're like, hey, we need you to go to Monsterland, and we need you to land your spaceship.
The super cool spaceship.
The Moonlight SY-3. And we need you to go in there with guns. Because they might be contaminated and controlled by diabolical evil people. So they fly on down on their super fancy spaceship.
It is a really cool spaceship, and boy, it's a good thing that it's cool because it never is off screen for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
It is the most used thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, they land at the
Monsterland
Control Center. The Monsterland Control Center.
They get off the ship and they go into the control center, and it's all messed up and bashed up.
Actually, it's mostly like really clean and put back together, oddly.
Just the entrance.
The entrance, but like even like the control room itself. The
control room itself is very pristine.
There are places where it is kind of like crumbling and falling apart, and they're greeted by their friends, but they seem a little
nippity nappity doo, weird issue.
They are very odd, more odd than us. I know.
And they inform the astronauts, that they are in control of the monsters.
Now.
They are using the monsters to do what they would like, and they shall now take them to the creator of the monster control system. We are taken into a silver room with a black floor and no lights, and out from nothing fades in a woman in a silver suit.
Indeed. And she informs them
that she is a Kilak.
Yeah, like a Kilak.
And they would like to take the scientists and build a new technological society. And
that'll bring humanity and the Kilaks
to a new stage. And they're like, yo.
We don't like that because...
Why are you destroying everything? And she's like, for this progress, sacrifices must be made.
Namely, all humans.
And you shall not resist.
And if you do resist, we'll keep destroying.
We shall sick the monsters on you.
Indeed.
So, of course, the astronauts are like, nah, dog, we not doing that. So
blast.
They start blasting. They're trying to take the two people that are controlled friends away. One of them gets away, but they take one. They rendezvous with the head of the UNSC.
At a hotel.
Yeah, at a hotel where they're hiding from the UN secret police.
Well, They're not hiding from them.
They are.
Oh, they are. Yeah,
Yeah, they're hiding.
They're trying to have a conversation with them without the secret police showing up.
Yeah.
I guess. But anyway, they start talking to the guy because the girl got away.
But he won't talk, so they get up and they decide to have a little smoky smoke.
And a chitty chat.
But he gets up, opens a window, and... Wah!
That's right. He jumps, and one of the greatest graphics I have ever seen. He jumps out of the window, and then we get a shot of a T-pose dummy, and the most unenthusiastic, oh.
Ah!
He falls onto the sand. They're able to rush down, and that's where the secret police find them. But thankfully, the secret police show up in time to save them from the aliens with
controlled,
guns.
yes.
Controlled people in black suits. And then the black suit
are trying
aliens,
to take the dead man's body with them.
Yes. And then the brown suits are the UN.
Yes.
And they're trying to keep the person.
They're trying to capture all of them.
All of them.
So they are all shooting at each other, and they all have the aim of a stormtrooper.
Actually, even worse than the stormtrooper, because the only thing they can hit is actually like rocks. Even though there are actually people surrounding their target, both sides target,
yes.
and none of them are even like, they're in the line of fire, but none of them get hit.
So they take the body back and they're doing an autopsy on it, and they find like a bulge on the side of his neck that they cut open.
But don't worry, it wasn't cancer or a tumor, it was a small metal BB.
That was made of metal that they've never seen before, but has a built-in radio receiver.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
So they continue to try to figure out what this thing is transmitting and where it's transmitting from.
They keep trying to capture all the people that have been captured on Monster Island so they can contain them. So then they're like, you know what? Take the Moonlight SY-3 and you go and see if you can capture their signal being transmitted.
And they discover a large amount of rocks in key areas that are emitting the signal that is controlling the people's brains and possibly
controlling the monsters. But the problem is, they must now find their home base.
The aliens' home base.
Yes, they must find the Kilak home base.
And could it be underneath
Mount Fuji?
Indeed it is.
Yes.
And so they decide to try to fight the monsters that are defending the base, and they're also trying to jam the signals, and they're trying to destroy the signal maker. The SY-3 is used a lot. They're flying around trying to find different things. They have a tank rover that they end up going down. They
go back to the moon.
They go back to the moon.
Where the true base of the Kilax is and where the main signal is coming from. Once on the moon, they blast into a hole, and they just start shooting it with their Miser cannons, which then blows up the base, and the Kilax revert to a...
like a rock form.
Gooey rock form.
Like a rock with a worm, and the worms crawl into a larger rock. And the rock's metal, and it's the weird metal thing, so they're like, what happens is when they hit a cool enough temperature, they revert back to their rock form.
Yes.
Perhaps we just need to cool them down.
They then steal the home control, the main control system for the monsters.
Indeed.
Which allows mankind to control the monsters ourselves. And you know what? We're gonna use them to attack Mount Fuji.
Where they had defended previously.
Yes.
But what happens when the monsters approach Mount Fuji's secret alien base?
But what flashes out of nothingness and brings down rains of lightning of gold but King Ghidorah! Ghidorah! The Kilax then radio again. They're like, King Ghidorah is a monster from space.
And he will destroy all of your
monsters. The Earth monsters are nothing compared to him.
Never mind the fact that literally like 4 movies ago, it literally was King Ghidorah versus Mothra in larva form, Godzilla and Rodan, and he got his butt kicked. Granted, he also always flies away at the end of every fight that he loses to less monsters.
Yes.
But that doesn't matter now.
The monsters are now there, you know, like, you know what? We've got to do this. Use the monsters to fight Ghidorah.
And indeed they do.
And boy, howdy, is it a fight.
And it's also a fight to the death.
Ghidorah dies.
Indeed, he actually gets like completely destroyed by everything.
Stomps his neck like multiple times, and the one head's coughing out blood.
Yeah.
Ankylosaurus like bites into his neck and like is causing it to bleed everywhere.
And holds on to him like a chihuahua playing tug of war.
Danosaurus, like kangaroo, kicks him in the back.
It's epic.
Yeah, it's a magnificent fight.
We get some atomic breath. We get an atomic ring from the turd.
Yeah, the turd does an atomic ring that circles around the middle head and does nothing.
But thankfully, he was there the entire time when we get multiple screenshots of him cheering his dad on.
Yeah.
Probably hoping he doesn't beat him this time.
And then he jumps on the body like he did something to help, and it's just like, no, you don't deserve that. But, oh no, you may have defeated Ghidorah, but what about the fire dragon?
Well, it's not even making any noise. It's like a flying disc. Almost as if it's like...
It's just a giant ball of fire.
And it...
attacks the UNHQ.
After it attacks Rodan.
Attacks Rodan. Then it attacks the Japanese Defense Unit.
Destroys it completely.
Except for their sign, which is in near pristine condition.
Well, actually, that was when Godzilla destroyed Tokyo.
Oh, you're right.
Because we literally had a scene earlier where Godzilla destroyed Tokyo along with 2 other monsters, because you need to have 3 monsters to destroy Tokyo, 4 monsters to destroy Tokyo, 4 monsters that, by the way, destroyed 4 separate cities.
By themselves.
But don't worry, they left the Stein standing for the defense force, and we get a zoom in that's literally like the entire city's in ruins, but then we get a, meanwhile at the defense council meeting.
Yeah.
But that was earlier, so we're out of order. But anyway, back to they're destroying the actual defense base, and they destroy that completely with the fire dragon.
Yes.
But eventually they get chased down by the SY-3, which is used for literally everything. This time they've equipped it with
cryogenic rockets.
Yeah, cryo missiles. And
they shoot one out of their butt.
Like literally, it actually like shoots backwards, because that's what you want missiles to do when you're chasing something.
Yeah.
In a high-speed aircraft.
They shoot one from the back. They hit it with one from the front.
Yep.
The thing crashes and blows up,
killing everything inside.
The base has been uncovered, and it just kind of looks like a giant egg. But we've also now lost control of the monsters.
But that doesn't stop Godzilla. Good guy Godzilla decides he's going to go ahead. He's going to attack the aliens because they try to control him like the humans did. But
Godzilla
they were worse.
Does not like to be controlled.
The first time.
Yeah. So he atomic breaths it twice, and then he's like, you know what? The boot. And he kicks it open like it's an egg.
His third most powerful thing. The only thing he didn't do in this movie was the second most powerful attack, throwing rocks.
Yeah.
Or kicking rocks. Rocks.
He did not use rocks this time. He did not get his rocks off the ground.
This is a kid's show. I'm just kidding. It's not.
We're PG-13 at least.
At least. We're in C-17. Anyway. Anyway.
They've now defeated the main base in Mount Fuji, and peace has come for the Earth. At least from the aliens.
Peace has come for the Earth.
At least from the aliens.
You will be peaceful.
All the monsters are brought back to Monster Island, where they are
actually
rehomed and happy.
Yeah, they all like wave and they're dancing and stuff as the SY-3.
No, it's not. It's a helicopter. Yeah.
Yeah, the helicopter flies by and they're just like, oh wow, they're all happy and peaceful and
definitely just like, oh look at them down there. Oh, so happy, so nice, so pretty, so cute.
Oh wow. And then we get the credits.
Yeah.
And that was destroy all monsters.
With only one monster death.
That's true. Like, none of the monsters actually destroyed anything. The thing that got destroyed was, like, all the cities. It should have been called, like, destroy
all monsters
humans.
destroy.
Yeah, something like that. Like, all monsters destroy.
Or
all monsters attack.
Ooh, all monsters attack. Or attack of all monsters.
Actually, is it attack of all monsters? Like... Have I been saying it wrong? No, it's destroy all monsters.
Yeah, it's just...
The next one is like all monsters attack. There's one in here that actually is like all monsters attack. So we will get to that one later. But anyway, before we get to that one, let's thoroughly discuss Destroy All Monsters.
Yes.
Starting with the good, Pat. What is good about this movie? Wait, before you say anything, let me guess the modeling.
Yes, the modeling is always good. I'm sorry, they just keep their the
modeling's solid. Like it's hard to not at least comment about it.
It's a nice, consistent thing.
Yeah.
Like even in the movies that are not as great, like the last two, the modeling is still there.
It's true, and I think the modeling in this one is actually a little slightly better than the last one, because the last one you actually see like the sticks moving everything. This time you can actually like. It feels like they're more like remote controlled. Obviously, you can kind of see some of the strings and stuff, but modeling is solid in this one. But is that your good actually, or do you have another good?
No, I was gonna say the good is it kind of brings the multiverse of Godzilla monsters together more.
That's true.
It broadens your horizon of the kaiju-verse.
Yeah. Like it brings in like more kaiju that we haven't really experienced or from like other franchises, because that is one thing about this series is there are Mothra movies. I think there's Rodan movies.
I didn't realize there'd be
I think he gets introduced in another movie. It might be Mothra, it might be another thing.
Yeah, because Godzilla and Mothra are like the big two that I know. I know Mothra has like an entire series.
Yeah, so there's like a whole nother series. So it's interesting. Like they might be from another series or they might be new creations. I agree with you. Like my good actually is that they brought in the Saurus, the Angiosaurus. Yeah, the one that we never know the name of. The spiky boy from the second movie. I thought that was really cool. I actually really liked that monster from the second movie. I feel like he didn't get a lot of screen time because he was in like the first climax of the movie, which was within like 15 minutes.
It was such a quick fight.
It really was. So actually seeing him and having him be kind of effective and a key part in destroying Ghidorah, I thought was really cool. So it's like it's good. I agree. Like bringing in all the other monsters, really cool.
Yeah.
All right, how about bad? What's bad?
The turd.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Truly, that's like the rest of this movie is kind of campy now, but like seriously, the one thing that I really didn't like about this was the turd.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Minizilla.
Minizilla.
Yeah, like the son of Godzilla. I'm not a fan of him either.
Yeah. If you haven't figured it out, that's what I mean by the turd.
Yeah, he looks like a
dried out turd.
Yeah. He looks like a dried out turd.
Yeah.
He doesn't look any better in this one.
Nope.
He is annoying. Like that is one thing. It's like it's bad. It's not ugly. It's not a thing that I would just be like, it might not be worth watching this movie because of him.
Yeah, no, it's just annoying. It's like
it'd be better if he just was gone. Yeah.
Or if he died.
If he had died sacrificing himself, I actually would have been like, you know what? Here's to you, turd.
Yeah.
Flush. Let's see the bad.
That was the bad. Oh,
I mean,
you're bad.
Yeah. I agree. I'm not a fan of the son of Godzilla. I think he is annoying, and it rubs me the wrong way, kind of thing. But bad. I think like the see, now all I have is that stupid thing in my head. And it is bad. Yeah. I agree. It's like it's kind of like the one thing that like there's fun campy, and this movie is great fun campy.
Yeah.
However, Baby Godzilla just leaves a really bad taste in your mouth because the last movie was probably the worst one so far.
Yeah.
And so seeing him and seeing that he's not any different, he's really the same. He has the same like annoying roar. He does a lot of the same mannerisms and stuff like that. It's like it's nice for like continuity that he's similar, but at the same time, it's supposedly been a while since the last one.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice if he was a little bit more useful at least.
Maybe not like an infant, more like adolescent.
Yeah, like if he looked more like Godzilla too. The actual design is bad.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that. How about ugly? What's the thing that you would actually like warn people about, where it's like, hey, like brace yourself for this thing? Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go.
I would say like an ugly for this one that I would actually kind of warn people about is the plot gets a little bit muddy at times.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit messy. It is very much like campy sci-fi.
Yeah.
But at times it can be just a little bit confusing, especially like the fact that the Killians, the aliens turn into metal rock worms. That just doesn't really make sense. It's like, why do they appear as humanoids when it's warm, but then they turn into rocks?
I mean, they could be like a
projection,
non-Newtonian fluid,
maybe,
and like they're forming themselves into a human, but if it cools down too much, they
kind of
lose their flexibility, and they could be a metal that actually contracts under. I mean, metal contracts under cold. No, it expands under cold. They could be one of those metals that like contracts in cold.
Maybe. But it is just one of those things where I would say that kind of gets muddled and confusing. So there are some plot points, but there are like specifically when it comes to the alien invaders, it's not very well explained.
Yeah.
And so it comes off as kind of weird and jarring.
Metal expands in heat.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. There we go. Mm-hmm. That was stuck in my head.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. How about, what do you think? Ugly.
Yeah. The Killiaks do feel kind of like a shoehorn in.
Yeah. They're a great motivator. Like,
great motivator. They just like, they're really like not like, it's not like they're trying to go full forward. Like they just don't feel like they're meant to be fully bad guys.
I guess it's just odd. Like, their motivations are really odd because it's like they're trying to destroy everybody. They're trying to bring everything into this like new technological advanced thing. But their main weakness is like if it's too cold. But there are warmer planets.
Yeah.
In the solar system.
Dude, they could go to Mercury.
Yeah, and it's not explained exactly why it is that they want Earth specifically.
Yeah.
It's more of a thing where it's like, we're here, we're the existential threat, we're the motivator for this plot.
Yeah.
And we don't really need they didn't really think it through where they're like, yeah, let's invade Earth, a planet that is too cold in its natural environment for us to actually live and thrive. Because the thing too is like, if they can only live under Mount Fuji because it's volcanic, why don't they just make a peace deal with the humans and just be like, hey, like, we just need to live in a place that's just kind of warm, and your volcanoes kind of serve that purpose. Maybe we can benefit from each other. Why destroy the external civilizations?
Yeah, like unless they're planning to terraform,
which they don't say that they're going to.
Yeah,
that's like I said, the plot gets kind of muddled.
Yeah, I would agree with that's kind of the main ugly thing. Like, most of the other stuff, like, it's pretty works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, like, the ugly of it is that the alien species that tries to conquer Earth with technological advances, they're all women. Come on. Let's have some realism in our science fiction.
All right.
It's a hot take, especially one because I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
All right. Iconic. What's iconic? What's the thing that you're actually like, this is what makes it worth watching?
It's the monster team up. Like, he's done it maybe 4 times now, but like, still the Godzilla monster team up.
It's like an all-star cast monster team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like the Avengers.
Yeah.
But for Godzilla.
The Kaiju Avengers. The Kai Avengers.
The Avenge.
The Avenge You. I like that. Avenge You. The symbol.
Yeah, I think that is actually really the iconic thing. It's like this one's just like it is not. So Godzilla, the first Godzilla, is iconic because it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It has a solid message. It's actually kind of terrifying in a way. It's well shot. It's well done. It
Just
yeah. The second one tries to be a bit of a message movie, but it doesn't have enough source material. It feels like, and so they had to add extra to it.
yeah.
Since then, we've been kind of struggling with like we have some good. There's good movies. Like Godzilla versus Mothra is pretty good. Even Godzilla versus King Kong, camp fest, not terrible, but the last few have just been really bad. A note, not iconic, but something that I think actually should be noted is the music is actually appropriate in this movie.
Yes.
That's something that
There is one time. The first time they defend against King Godzilla, it's a bit like of a happy music.
Yeah, that's true.
Like all the missiles are rising out of the countryside.
That's true, and it's just like. I
think it's,
but it's not surfer music. It's just happy like major
I think it's
key.
supposed to be like a like rah charge kind of.
We're destroying Godzilla, and then you just see Godzilla.
Yeah. They did more damage to Japan than Godzilla and all the others combined.
That's true. That is one thing. Like, it's not ugly, but it is like funny because they're shooting it live and they're using like practical effects for it. But because of an angle, like most of the time they angle it very well, so it looks like he's actually getting like blasted at. But because they're using like fireworks and stuff, when they show an angle, it actually shows the fact that no, we're actually shooting like to the side of him to make sure that the man in the suit is not in danger.
Like a 2-foot gap.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're being safe, and it's like it makes sense. Like when we understand, like it's a guy in the suit.
Yeah.
But when we're actually thinking about, like, no, that's supposed to be a monster that's supposed to be fighting. It's like no wonder he's constantly destroying Japan. They can't aim. They can't hit him.
Oh yeah, no.
Boss, I think we should adjust to the left. No, we're on the right side of history. We shoot to the right.
They learned that the hard way.
We need to be on the right side of history. We had better aim back then. And we were wrong. We still lost. Anyway, it's just something to note. Like the music is a lot better. It's more appropriate. And I think that actually helps this movie a lot because it feels less like complete and total camp fest. What the heck is this movie? And more along the lines of, yes, it's campy and silly, but at least it is like, no, it's a monster movie.
Yeah.
Like it is a kaiju monster movie. They're fighting each other. They're fighting aliens. It's sci-fi. It's campy.
Immersion as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sci-fi and it's campy, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take a note of that. All right. Let's say Toho comes up to you, Pat, and they talk about wanting to make a movie that's like Destroy All Monsters, but for a modern audience. What are some things that you think? What are some things that you would do for a modern audience with this idea?
You almost gotta be take a bit of influence from Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Yeah. See, someone has gone and they've collected Godzilla, Rodan, Agrosaurus. I wouldn't give them Mothra. I could see Mothra still getting being controlled by something, but I wouldn't have Mothra there.
Well, that's true, because Mothra is actually important to her own island's ecosystem.
Yeah.
She's a guardian. Like, she's not just a kaiju. She is actually, like...
Yeah.
And it's been proven in other movies when she's not on the island is suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or when she sleeps.
Or when she sleeps, the island kind of suffers.
When people get taken as slaves.
Yeah. Jeez, Mothra, stop sleeping on the job.
No, but... Like... Some big money man.
Mm-hmm.
He's making a monster park. And, he's got all that stuff in place to, like, control them.
Mm-hmm.
I could still kind of see aliens coming in to take it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, Yeah, I kind of feel aliens are the, like, best bet to, like... Unless he's... Ooh, ultra radical. No, aliens.
Okay.
Yeah, still see aliens coming in to like take control of the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe less of a for our heat, but for our water.
Kind of do like what we talked about with the Zillions, where people don't value like water over gold.
Yeah.
That kind of situation. But this time they're after like our water resource.
Yeah.
So they're actually trying to like mine us.
Yeah. They're trying to take all the H2O.
Okay.
Including the salty one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So aliens, they kind of take control of the monsters in order to hold the world ransom for water.
Yeah. It is a lot less common on, like, it's not common in a liquid form in most other planets in our solar system.
That's true. Well, we're really kind of the only planet that has like actual like water.
I mean, there's ice
It's
on
frozen.
Mars.
Yeah, there's frozen ice on Mars, but
Yeah.
it's not like H2O.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is like a kind of Earth specific, like a little sparser of a research of a
resource,
like galactically.
Yeah, and it would make sense that an alien species would see it and they'd try to take it. Probably using the monsters perhaps to destroy like the world's navies and keep people on the land.
Yeah.
Like keep them from the oceans as they take it.
Driving them away from oceans, driving them away from like the Great Lakes.
Water sources.
Yeah, like the large inland lakes and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. You kind of hit on what I was thinking of actually, but thankfully you glossed over it. I'm like DJ who would double down and actually take my idea. So my idea would be, you kind of have the same premise. Things are starting off. We have some space travel. We're going through. We're trying to do all these different discoveries. Yeah. And I like your idea, so I'm going to steal your idea. There is a rich, wealthy person who has decided to take the monsters and put them in a habitat so they can be observed for scientific purposes, but also for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
So there are actually there's some tour groups and stuff like that, but it's like an ultra exclusive kind of tour.
Yeah.
So you have to have like the right credentials. You have to have the right
connections.
You have to have the right connections. It's a very, very secure site. But because a lot of the security is really intense, what they don't realize is that the internal security has a major flaw. Namely, most tourists that are able to afford to actually see Godzilla and these monsters and the kaiju in person are so ultra wealthy, they're not actually that concerned about the tech. They're not concerned about the scientists. They're not concerned about the containment units and things like that. They get like a briefing where it's like, oh, don't worry about the monsters. We have a magnetic field and we have all these different sprays and things like that that are keeping them on the island.
Yeah.
We have that. But most rich people hear that and they go, oh, I'm so happy that we're safe. Yeah. And they would leave. So the security inside is lax.
Yeah.
Enter Atomic Dragon. From my last movie with the radical people, but instead of trying to use Godzilla in order to create nuclear weapons, what they see is an opportunity where they can control the monsters because they are trying to find ways to control the monsters, or they had a rudimentary system in order to get all the monsters onto the island. And so they're like, we have this technology that can actually bring them onto the island. We kind of let them do their own things just because it's a huge mental and emotional strain on these animals. And we're trying to conserve them. We're trying to observe them. So we have this control unit, but it's not something that we're constantly using. We're trying to contain them, but we do have this ability. That's how we got them here. Atomic Dragon, the radical group that we've already established in universe, decides, okay, let's try to use some of our connections. Let's do some hacking. Let's do some inside trading kind of thing. We're going to get tickets and we're going to get onto the island. Yeah. And we're going to try to see if there's an opportunity for us to either replicate the equipment or outright take the equipment.
Yes.
And because they get onto the island, they realize that the security is extremely lax because they don't think that these rich people are actually going to be able to do anything. They implant a virus in the system and they're able...
viruses.
Right. Well, so they enter a Trojan horse system. And the Trojan horse system links back to their main base, which is under Mount Fuji. And all of the information is sent back to Mount Fuji. They remote control and access it. They gas the scientists, destroying them, actually like killing the scientists that are in control of it. They are now the only people that can control this system. And the area in and of itself is so poisonous now that people can't just go back in and delete the Trojan horse system. So now Atomic Dragon controls the kaiju.
Yes.
And they are holding the world ransom. And they are literally doing an act of terror. And they have a ransom, they have a plan. They're like a radical group, they're a radical political group. Maybe they have some kind of thing that they're trying to do. Maybe they have like certain leaders they're trying to overthrow, whatever it is. But they're holding the world ransom because they have the kaiju.
Yes.
And the space people on the moon are the only people that are really not affected because we're on the moon. No monsters have been going to the moon. The signal in and of itself only goes as far as the atmosphere. So we're safe on the moon. We're able to plan. So we have an elite task force put together, headed by the same guy in this one, but now he's like an elite task force guy. And he has his ship, he has a plan, and their whole thing is we need to find a way to release the monsters. And we need to find a way to stop Atomic Dragon. And perhaps one of the things that they do is they say, well, one of the things is that there's like great emotional stress that's put on these creatures because of this control unit. Perhaps the thing that we have to do, as crazy as it sounds, one of the things we might have to do is just overload the system. They get Ghidorah to attack. So now Atomic Dragon has to use all of the monsters to fight Ghidorah because, yes, we've defeated Ghidorah twice, but he always flies off. We can't have him coming back. We need to destroy him. So they decide to use all of the monsters. And when they use all the monsters, it overloads the system. And now the monsters are pissed. Because they've been manipulated. It overloaded the system. It broke the system. And now they have to find Atomic Dragon and put an end to it before they can reestablish the system.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I would do. Just
okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know if you like that. If you like our banter, if you the series so far.
Wit.
Our humor, our opening sketch, which I destroyed my vocal cord for.
The tiny Godzilla.
The tiny Godzilla, the Godzilla. Speaking of like the things on here, just shout out. We are not sponsored or anything like that, but we are watching the Godzilla, the Showa era films set. You can find this on Godzilla.com, Amazon.com. It's a Blu-ray set. It has all of the Showa era films, 1954, 1974. We are currently watching this. We're going to be in this for a little bit while longer. I think we're halfway through this set.
Yeah, we're at least 2 discs in.
Yeah, 4. I think we're at like 4 discs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're pretty far into this one. But we're going to be doing this series for a long time. So if you like the series, be sure to subscribe to make sure that you don't miss any of them. Of course, like this video. We always appreciate your guys' comments in the video. So below, let us know your thoughts about Godzilla, the series so far, the video. What are some things that we can do to improve? Always looking to improve. And also, what other series would you be interested in having us watch? We just love your guys' feedback.
And hit us up with any Mothra knowledge you have.
That's true. If you know where to find like Mothra movies and stuff like that, and you want us to do that, we're willing to do that. We like our movies. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Toodaloo.